Welcome back, beauty. I am doing something a little bit different for today's video. I am doing a Q&A. I had prompted for a lot of you to send in questions through Instagram posts. So if you don't currently watch and follow and look at my YouTube posts, make sure to head there, check it out. I am constantly sending questions, polls, prompts every single week because truly I want to get to know my community a little bit better. So that is a lot more interactive. I also posted a Q&A on Instagram, and everything, all the answers that were sent through, well, majority of them, I will be answering here today. This isn't scripted, super natural. I'm just going to be going with the flow. So get comfortable, grab a tea, a latte, a smoothie, a healthy snack, high protein, obviously, and yeah, get comfortable because I am just going to chat through these answers like it's me and you sitting in a coffee shop, catching up. And yeah, I was actually really excited to film this today. So let's get into it. All right, I am going to start with your questions around movement. I have everything today. We're covering from lifestyle, personal, business, beauty, and obviously naturally exercise and movement. So lots of questions about walking. Someone asked, well, a few of you asked, why are steps specifically so important? I need a refresher. And I love that you asked that because when things become trendy on Instagram and walking 10,000 steps a day, yes, has kind of just taken over the internet in the past 1 or 2 years. This is one of the trends that it's a really great trend that we should keep going with, but it's also really important to ask yourself the question why sometimes. So instead of just blindly doing everything that the internet is telling you to do, really understanding the why. So walking is so important because it is such an easy way to burn extra calories. When we want to lose weight, when we want to tone up, we need to be in a caloric deficit. Now, just working out for your 30-minute, 45-minute, 1 hour every single day, yeah, it's great that you're getting in that exercise, but if you're just moving and moving your body for that hour and not focusing on movement for the rest of your 23 hours in a day, you are not doing enough. It's low impact, it is not stressful on the body, it helps you get in a caloric deficit. So if you're walking 10,000 steps a day, you're burning anywhere from 400 to 600 extra calories. All of those calories in your week, in your month, in your year, of course, add up and help with weight loss. That's why people see such amazing results when they start incorporating. They go from 2,000 steps a day to 10,000 steps a day. And it's free. It's low impact. Everyone can do it, of course, as long as you are able to physically walk. And it's increasing your daily non-exercise activity, which is super important, especially when you're trying to reshape and recomp your body. Someone also asked, related to steps, why does walking on the treadmill feel so long while going on a walk feels so fast? I feel like that's a pretty simple answer. When you're outside, there's so many things going on around you. The sun is also shining, you're getting fresh air, maybe you're with a friend, your environment is constantly changing, of course, as you walk, so it makes it a little bit more exciting. I agree. I find if I'm not on my phone working or doing something when I'm on the treadmill, the time goes by so slow and I'm constantly checking how much time has passed. In order to combat that, of course, I would recommend to multitask, habit stack, do your meditation while you're walking on the treadmill, answer emails, listen to your favorite podcast, call a friend. That also really helps to pass the time. But it is true, when you're on the treadmill, the time is literally creeping by. Next, someone asked, is it okay to do the flow workouts in between gym days? And then they asked, strength training with no rest days. So how on my app, how the weekly workout schedule is set up is Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are our strength days. So we have Monday full body, Wednesday arms, Friday lower body, and then a mobility session is always scheduled for Tuesdays, and then a Pilates session for Thursdays. So that's our 5-day during the week. Saturdays always a rest day. And then Sunday is another optional like quickie, usually under 20-minute workout. It could be abs, it could be cardio, it could be a combination of both. It could be a flow, something to just like get our body still moving over the weekend. So what I believe she is referring to is like, should we be doing the entire weekly schedule without rest? Well, my answer for you is Tuesdays, the mobility and core, that is technically like active rest. Yes, we're still showing up. Yes, we're still moving our bodies, but we're really doing it in a low intensity recovery way. We're stretching it out. We're releasing tension in the body, and that would be considered recovery. We also have a rest day on Saturday, and I know a lot of you don't actually, because I can see you on the platform, aren't actually doing anything on Sunday either, but that is totally fine. If you're moving your body 4 to 5 times a week, that is perfect. I also schedule the week knowing that you may have a really hectic Wednesday, so you may not be able to do upper body, but you did upper body on Monday in our full body, you're gonna get upper body again the next day with lighter weights, low impact with our Pilates workout, which is always full body. So I'm taking into account the fact that we're not always going to be able to hit every single day, so you may have some other rest days mixed in, but it is also okay to do the schedule as is. If you're sore on Thursday and don't want to do the tone and flow, the Pilates, then take the rest day and then get back to it with the lower body on Friday. So I hope that was helpful. Last question in our workout movement category today. I chose this because I know that this is relatable for a lot of you, I'm sure. How do you set up a workout schedule that works with a busy schedule, school, work, and extracurriculars? When it comes to doing your workouts, you need to schedule them. Especially if you're like a busy person, and we're all really busy, you need to schedule them as if they were a work meeting. So you need to figure out, there's no one answer, of course, because we all need to figure out when in our day we have the time to do the workout, and that is the only way that you will be able to sustain and be consistent with it. If your workday starts at 9 a.m. and then you have work from 9 a.m. until 1 and then school from 2 until 6, maybe we're waking up half an hour earlier in the morning to get in our workout and our movement for the day. Maybe you have time in your afternoon, right? So you're figuring out, looking at your schedule at large, and you're figuring out, okay, when can I sneak and schedule these workouts in? That is the only way that you will actually show up, that you will actually be consistent, and that you will be able to hold yourself accountable to. If you're just winging it and going with the flow and, maybe I'll get it in, maybe I won't get it in, you're probably just not going to do it. So make sure you are scheduling your workouts like you would work, like you would a meeting, like you would a class for school, a date, a hangout with a girlfriend. Also schedule your workouts. Moving on to more personal questions. I actually talked about this a little bit in my very last What I Eat in a Day video. So if you haven't already checked out that video, I'm going to put it here for you to watch after. Someone asked, how old am I and do you want kids? I am 34 years old. It feels a little bit crazy saying that because I don't know where the time has gone. I'm almost in my mid-30s, and in a way it really doesn't even feel real. Like I'm 6 years away from 40. Crazy times. Do I want kids? I do want kids. I feel like I really went back and forth on this for a while, and I want kids, but say I was with someone who didn't want kids, say my boyfriend didn't want kids, I feel like I would also be okay not having them. I've never been that girl who like really has known from day one that she really, really, really wants kids. Like it's happening. That's her main goal in life, that like she is meant to be a mom. That's the role that she wants to take on. Like I've never felt that. But that being said, when I think about having kids on a longer term basis, and I don't just think of like the present and right now, it makes me feel and think that I really do want them, because like what's gonna happen when I get old? Like I'm just gonna have my boyfriend who potentially is going to be my husband. It's just gonna be me and him forever. I feel like children play such an important role in life, and they bring so much joy and love. And something people always say, of course, like you don't even know what love is until you have a child. It's like a whole different level of love. But the reason why I have found it in the past difficult to imagine life with children is because I'm just so focused on me, and I'm such a Virgo. I'm so structured. I love rigidity. I love having everything like lined up, concise. I know what my day is gonna look like. I know what my week's gonna look like. I would say that I'm selfish in a way that like I just love things to be my own way, which is probably also why I've always been like an entrepreneur and got fired from every job, but that's for another video. It's just hard for me to like change my whole world and like grow a human and then have them in my life. What if I want to go for my walk alone in the morning, but like I have now a child here? Like that makes me scared and brings a little bit of fear. But again, then when I look at it from a more grand long-term perspective, I'm like, okay, no, we can figure out the walks. We can figure out the rest of it. All of it will be worth it, and I'll be so happy when it happens. So that's my take on having kids. Someone also asked, do you want to get married? Yes. Again, same answer as kids. Both of these answers probably will come to surprise because I just feel like these answers aren't really the norm. I have also never really dreamed about having a big wedding, having the dress, doing the bachelorette, the engagement party, the bridal shower, and then the like all of it just seems like a lot. I'm down to get married. I don't need to spend like hundreds of thousands or even 50,000, whatever it may be, on a wedding on an occasion. Maybe it's just my practical mind, but I would rather put that in investment, a house, savings, kid savings. I don't know. It seems ridiculous to spend $400,000 on a wedding, but I do want to get married. But like, I'm also okay having something super small and intimate. A lot of you know that I've been with my boyfriend for about 2 years now. So we're at that place where we're getting there. We're getting ready. I'm 34. He's 44. He's 10 years older than me. We're on that path. We're heading in the right direction. Who knows? Stay tuned. There may be a ring coming in 2026. I have like zero pressure from my side also. You know, like a lot of girls are really pressing their boyfriend. That's not really me. I'm pretty chill and we're both committed to each other. So I don't feel like a ring really changes much for me. Like I would definitely want a ring before I have a child. Marriage, not necessarily, but I do want that like diamond, duh, who doesn't want it? But it's also a sign of commitment. It's like, okay, we're gonna be together forever. We're gonna have a baby. For me, that's the natural progression. But do I imagine a grandioso wedding for myself? No, I do not. Next question. Do you drink alcohol? Yes, I do drink alcohol, but I would say that I have very much minimized it, especially in the past couple of years. I used to at least always have 1 or 2 drinks when I would go out or go out for dinner because it's not so often that I do that. But I would say more recently, I've just been going out for dinner, and unless I'm going out and like partying after, it's like, why have that one glass of wine or that one drink? Because I don't really love drinking. If I really enjoyed it, I would do it. Like something I really enjoy when I'm out for dinner is having dessert. I would rather, it's not like I need to choose one or the other. Sometimes I have drinks and sometimes I have dessert as well. On last Friday, I was at Cipriani in Miami. I had both. But I don't need to do that every single time. I think more of a social pressure, especially when it's like casual, you're out with a girlfriend, out for lunch or dinner. I've really just cut down, not necessarily for like any specific reason. I just feel like I feel better when I don't drink. If I have a late night but I don't drink, I can still wake up in the morning and feel good and normal. Even if I have 1 or 2 drinks, I can most of the time wake up and feel super groggy and off, and then the rest of my day is kind of thrown out the window, and I don't love that. I drink alcohol, definitely in moderation. I'll go in and like drink and get drunk once in a while if it's like a birthday or I'm on vacation, or I'm trying to think, like the last time was probably in October. We're now in February. It was my friend's birthday and it was a really fun night out, and I maybe had like 5 or 6 drinks. And I was hungover the next day, and like that's okay. I think that is also, I don't want to say normal because I don't want to encourage people to drink, but for me, like I'm okay with that. I'll have the one hangover day. I'll order my like hamburger and fries. I'll rot in bed on a Sunday, and like that's also fun. And still want to age myself. I'm still 34. I gotta have fun, you know what I mean? Someone asked for confidence in self-esteem advice. And this one, when I first read it, I was thinking about what I was going to say, and then it was a difficult and it was a hard one for me because personally, of course, we always have self-esteem issues, problems, we're overthinking, we're a woman, body image, whatever it may be. But I feel like it's more about creating and building a strong mind and outlook and perspective, always being able to flip the narrative, turn things around, have a positive outlook. That is such an important part when it comes to confidence and self-esteem, because whatever you affirm, you believe. So if you're telling yourself all the time, I suck, I'm bad at this, I'm ugly, I don't look good, I hate how my stomach looks, she's so much better, she's so much more this, comparing all of it, the more that you say all of these things, the more that this is going to be your reality and become true. When you change those thoughts, your actions and what you believe also changes. If you're waking up and telling yourself every single day, I love you, you're the best, you're doing the best that you can every single day, it is going to motivate you to be that person every single day versus being on the opposite, waking up, my life sucks, it's depressing, bad things happen to me. That's just going to continue to be your reality. But when the more you affirm, the more all of that comes into reality. And if you are having self-esteem and confidence issues, I would really recommend this book to you from Louise Hay. I used to buy it for my friends as gifts, birthdays, family, whatever. I think it's a book that every single person should read. It's called You Can Heal Your Life, and she talks a lot about the power of thought, the power of affirming, how to change how you're showing up, not only for yourself, but also people around you. And I think that book can be life-changing. I'll make sure to also add it to the description. But that is my best advice when it comes to confidence and self-esteem, because even I need to give myself those reminders sometime. You know, we always nitpick, and again, back to body image, I'll look at something, like I'll see a wrinkle somewhere, and maybe I'm bloated. It'll be like, I'll see a photo and it'll just be a very unflattering photo. And it's very easy to pick yourself apart, but when you tell yourself like, no, I love you, I love this, I love that, it really does make a difference, and it kind of changes your outlook and perspective. Someone asked, how do you shut down external voices from friends who are sometimes judgmental? Weight loss and overall wellness has been great, but friends give unsolicited advice and it's frustrating. I get it. I feel like I'm probably that friend to a lot of other people, always, and my boyfriend, always giving unsolicited advice and my opinion, only because I love them and I'm always trying to help people and like want them to be like great and better, but like it's not always warranted or asked of from me. So sometimes like I can be on that end where I'm like giving the advice and the people around me are receiving. It can be annoying, I'm sure for them. It can be frustrating, but for me personally, it's not coming from a judgmental place. It's coming from a place of me just wanting people around me like be and feel their best. But when it's coming from a judgmental place, like this woman pointed out, the only thing that you can do is ignore, is to tell them thank you for your input, thank you for your advice, and I'll take it into consideration, but I'm going to do what's best and what feels good for me. I think that is really important, setting boundaries, because your best friend could be telling you, well, why are you working out and eating high protein and trying so hard? You could just do a GLP-1 and you could lose weight overnight. Just because that's their, number one, their thought, their experience, their opinion, does that mean that that choice is right for you? No, probably not. Set boundaries. don't be influenced, especially if it's not in the right way, and always come back to what works and what feels good for you. If it gets to the point where it's like really annoying and your friends are, again, constantly being judgmental, giving you opinions that you don't want, maybe it's that you tell them, hey, look, I heard you the first time. I get it. I know that's your approach, but that's not what works for me. So I would appreciate if like you just leave this subject alone, because I don't feel like it's something that we need to keep coming back to, and it's at the point where it's making me feel like frustrated, and I really love you and our friendship, so I don't want to have something like this come in between us. I feel like that would be a really good response and a really good boundary to set. Best and worst decision of your life. Again, when I read this, automatic answer for best decision was moving to Miami. It has completely changed my life. Most of you know I moved to Miami a few years ago from Toronto, and Toronto just did not feel good for me anymore. It didn't feel like it was my place. It didn't feel like it was my city. I kind of felt like I outgrew it, and I knew that I was not thriving in a way personally or in my business with being in that environment. I am like a tropical girl. I could be living on an island by myself right now. Like, I really love sun, water, fresh air, nature, and you are not really getting that in Toronto and in Ontario in general. Moving to Miami, I feel like I've completely flourished. I love my life here. My business has expanded beyond my dreams. There's so many more opportunities, and I'm just in a place, again, it comes back to like, I'm just in an environment, in a place where I feel really good, and I feel like I can be the best version of me. The worst decision of my life, I wouldn't necessarily say there's like a worst decision. I didn't have something in mind, again, when I first just glanced at the questions before I started this, but maybe one of the worst decisions I made was just staying in a very toxic relationship for way longer than I should have in my 20s. It was on and off, back and forth for probably 3 years, and that also contributed to why I had such a hard time living in Toronto, because I was also just like not in a good place mentally. When you're in a relationship that's toxic, coming from both ends, it consumes your entire life. I chose to be in that for even 3+ years, and if I could go back, that is probably one of the choices and decisions that I would change. I probably would have gone out of that relationship and never looked back a lot quicker. But that being said, fast forward a lot of years later, it was all lessons, and everything that I learned from that, it all ended up being lessons that led me to different directions, and again, made me become the person that I am today. So I don't ever take anything as a negative or regrets or this or that, but I guess if I could change one thing in my life, yeah, it probably would have been to like get the hell out of that relationship a lot sooner. Okay, on to more like beauty, personal questions. I knew there was gonna be a question about this. Can you do an update video on your breast augmentation? Which implant profile did you choose, and would you go larger? I don't know what you would want really for an updated breast augmentation video. I am just over a year after getting my implants. I am so happy that I did it. I'm so happy with the results. As of right now, they feel good, they feel normal. I didn't notice like any crazy changes with my body, you know, people's concern, and I get it, it's valid. That was one of my main concerns when I was first debating in between doing the fat transfer and the implants was breast implant illness. Over 35 million women in the world have gotten implants. Not every single woman has had the same experience. So yes, I definitely believe that implants can cause illness, but I think it's different for every single individual, and you really don't know what's gonna happen until you get them. But thank God, for me, everything has been good, and I'm very happy. I do not regret my decision. I went with 180cc, which is a very small implant. I think that's like probably, maybe you can get 150, I don't know, but that's like one of the smallest sizes that you can get. Because I had the fat transfer first, I did already have some volume, and also just like my original breasts, I wasn't completely flat. I was a very small B to begin with. That's why I feel like I'm kind of the perfect size, because I already had some breast tissue. I put in a small implant, and I wouldn't want them any bigger. They are the perfect size. However, when I first got them done, I thought that they were too small, and I wish I had gone like maybe 40 cc bigger, but now I'm very happy that I didn't, because with exercise, of course, I'm like living a very active lifestyle. I think for that, they are the perfect size. What profile? So I got moderate profile, didn't want high profile. I wanted them to just like be more teardroppy, natural. I got silicone. Someone asked me on DMs, I think literally today I saw they asked if I got Motiva. Motiva is a new implant that unfortunately was not cleared by the FDA before I got my surgeries. It got approved by the FDA, I think like 4 months after, which is kind of annoying. One of my girlfriends who got her boob job in Europe, she has Motiva, she really loves them. It's supposed to be like a little bit more of a natural implant, and there's lots of benefits with that. I don't really remember specifically, so do your research on it. If I had the choice, I probably would have went with Motiva, but again, that wasn't an option. I just have regular silicone, larger no, profile moderate, size 180, Dr. Kraft in Miami. If you go, say that I sent you, he's the best. That is it for boob jobs. Do you get Botox and filler? I'm considering getting some for the first time and would love to hear your thoughts. Yes, I feel like I've been very open about all of the beauty procedures that I have done throughout the years. I am not a gatekeeper, and I'm always happy to share what I am doing. So I have Botox and I have filler. I get Botox a couple times a year. So I have it in my forehead, I have it my crow's feet, and the last time I went in, I got a little bit on my chin just to like pull it down. I don't know, apparently I was getting wrinkles on my chin. So my injector recommended that I get some on my chin, so I did it. Whatever basically she says, I do. Again, if you're in Miami, I go to June Aesthetics. It's a French word spelled Jeune, and I go to Pamela, who is the owner. I think I have a code Kelsey 75, and you get like $75 off of your appointment. But I've been going to her since I moved to Miami. She also does my lip filler. I get like super little, small amount, 0.5 cc's. Again, if you follow me on Instagram or you watch my YouTube videos versus just listening to them, you'll see my before and afters, and you can tell, of course, that my lips are bigger. I had very, very small lips, so it's just a little bit of volume. I feel like all these little tweaks and adjustments, just as a woman, it just makes you feel good and sexier, and that is also really important. So I have no shame in my Botox and filler game. Thank God I'd never got filler anywhere else, just the lips. And then I did get PDGF under eye to fill in my under eyes in, like last year, 2025, which I'm so happy I did. It's made literally the world of a difference. It completely filled in my under eyes, and it's all done through like natural ways. I don't know, again, the science behind it, but it's like activating the collagen within. It's not like filler where it's something artificial that's making it expand. It's something is injected that ignites all of your cells and basically like produces collagen, something like that. So I got PDGF, and I also got Renuva in my cheekbone just to pull everything up. Again, it's like more natural. People get that in their knees, they get them on their hands, they get that everywhere. Also an option instead of filler. I don't think putting filler like in your face outside of your lips is the best, because you can see it migrating, and people who got filler like 10 years ago when we didn't really know what the long-term effects of filler were going to be, it's not looking too good. So I'm not a big filler person. What does a typical day of eats look like? Every single morning I have some type of drink. This is also answering another question. I'll have bone broth, I'll have my lemon water with chia, cayenne, salt, the magic morning drink. If you haven't watched that video on YouTube, make sure to watch it as well. I have my magic morning drink. I have some type of drink along with just plain straight room temperature water first thing in the morning. From there, typically I used to go fasted into my workouts. I don't know what has changed in the past year, but I just feel like since I started to have a little something, like a little bit of yogurt with chia seeds or a date with peanut butter, whatever it is, like a half of a granola bar, I will eat that before my workout, so I'm not going into my workout fasted, and I have so much more energy. So it's kind of like my little starter for the day. This is again around first thing when I wake up in the morning after I have my supplements and which I'll get into, and my drink and I'm ready to go. I'll have a little something to eat because I'm not starving. I don't want to have my full breakfast before my workout or before my walk, whatever I'm doing that day. And then I'll go work out or walk, and then I'll come home and I'll have my full breakfast. Breakfast typically looks like a standard breakfast, so 2 eggs, some type of other protein, either turkey sausage, beef sausage, turkey bacon. I'll have a carb, so half of a bagel, a piece of sourdough, a fat, either cashew butter, almond butter, peanut butter, or just ghee, usually on the toast, and then I'll have fruit as well. That usually ends up being about 35 grams of protein, and that keeps me full until lunch. I'm not snacking in between breakfast and lunch, which is the goal. Lunch, I'm usually having leftovers, or I'm having something like super fast and easy. I can take the time in my day for my breakfast and my dinner, but lunch, like, I'm not dedicating time to lunch. I can't. I'm a full-time woman. I'm a full-time working woman. So I'll have, again, leftovers like I'm gonna have today, salmon from last night, or I will have like a can of tuna. Super easy, shredded rotisserie chicken, which I will buy at the beginning of the week, and I'll make like a tuna or chicken salad, have it on a wrap or have it on lettuce cups, and that is it. Really simple. Snacks, I love Chomp's beef sticks. I love Lesser Evil popcorn. I think popcorn is a great snack. For some people, it can make them bloated. For me, it's fine. I really try to also have like whole food snacks. So I'll do veggies with hummus. I always have a hummus, some type of dip that I can have with vegetables as a snack during the week as well. If I didn't have eggs for breakfast for whatever reason, normally I also have hard-boiled eggs made for the week. So I'll grab 1 or 2 of those. That would be like on a day where I have chia pudding for breakfast, with obviously that's made without eggs. And then dinner is always the same thing. So it's a protein, a veg, a carb. I'm eating carbs all throughout the day. I'm not scared of carbs. I talk about that a lot. Protein is, yes, my focus, but I'm also so happy and my body really flourishes and feels good and digests carbs well. So I'll have like steak with sweet potato and cauliflower. That's what I had last night. I do chicken thighs or chicken breasts a lot. Everything is made very simple, like minimal seasoning, minimal ingredients. It's really just the protein, some salt and pepper, making it on the stovetop. I don't have a barbecue, unfortunately. I'm putting it in the oven, chicken thighs in the oven. I like to make chicken breast and my steak on the stovetop. I have salmon a lot. That takes 10 minutes in the oven. Super simple. So I keep everything pretty like tight in terms of not spending a lot of time on it, because I don't want to spend hours in the kitchen. Then if I do want to make like something fun and new recipes, I'll wait for it for the weekend. So that's my typical day of eats. I aim for about 120 grams of protein because I am like 117 pounds. So when asked what supplements am I taking, so I am taking collagen, Matina, every single day in my coffee. I'll link it below. If you watch my videos, you've definitely seen it before. I'm taking a magnesium at night, vitamin C in the morning, probiotic in the morning, vitamin D in the morning, omega-3 in the morning. And then I'm also taking the and Matina Rest and Digest in the evening. I love like ending my day with that. I was out of it for a while, and my friend Kelsey, who's the owner, she just sent me more, and like it really gets things moving. My digestive system has been feeling really good this week after taking it for a couple of days. So again, I'll link everything below, all of my supplements, but those are my key things. I keep it very simple, very like basic. All of my labs and everything, the only thing that was low was omega-3. So everything, I don't need like a lot of supplements because I'm not needing it for supplementation. Protein powder. I have something exciting in the works, so stay tuned for more information. 2026, we're doing a lot of big things, but I love Truvani, I love Chroma, I love the Happy Aging one because it does have creatine in it, 5 grams. Creatine's one of those things where you do need to be consistent with it, but I feel good when I'm like having the protein powder with also 5 grams of creatine, even though it's just in my head. It's not really doing anything because I'm not having it every single day. Morning drink recommendations. Again, I told you what I'm doing, like bone broth, celery juice, morning magic drink, even just warm water with lemon, something to get your body activated, turned on. Favorite protein hack, second last question. My favorite protein hack is stacking your morning with protein. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. When you have a lot of protein for breakfast, it regulates the rest of the day. It regulates your hunger, your cravings, your mood, your energy. And when you front load protein, so if you already get like those 30 or 40 grams right off the bat, it makes achieving that 100, 120, 150, whatever your protein goal is, and it really just depends on how much you weigh. It makes it that much easier while also making you feel just like regulated and good for the day. Lots of other YouTube videos on that. And then my final question was business work related. We kind of hit the lifestyle, the beauty, the food, personal, everything else. So I thought this was a nice way to end. Someone said, it's been so amazing to see your business grow and thrive. How do you manage it all? And for me personally, like I love, I guess, being an entrepreneur. I love hearing other entrepreneurs, female, in the wellness space speak about their business and how they do things. I find it so fascinating and interesting. So I did want to just quickly touch on this before we wrap it up, but I manage it all because I have gone, I think, pretty good at delegating on building a team. I have a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, and that has been such an important part in scaling. To give you just a very rough idea of kind of like what's happening behind the scenes, I have a strategist for Instagram. I have a YouTube coach who's helping me with strategy for YouTube. She's helping with all of my topics, thumbnails, titles, everything. She's also reviewing all of my videos, and then she's helping me send that feedback to my YouTube editor. So I have editors for YouTube, then I have a separate editor for Instagram, for my account and for the Shape account. I have a graphic designer who helps me with graphics for everything across the board, YouTube, Instagram, website, all the things. I have a web developer who I work closely with. I also have Nicole, who is head of growth. She's my latest addition to the team, and she's kind of just like overseeing and helping me with everything. I actually have only had her now since November. Again, we're in February, and I don't know how I didn't have her before. It's been super helpful, and I feel like we've been able to just like do so much more because she's like an extra right-hand man, so that's been amazing. I have someone for email marketing. Then I have like another assistant who's just doing small things. She's doing Pinterest repurposing. A lot of AI has helped with, again, business growth and taking over little tasks and things that I used to have people do, but now that has really been helping. I feel like business, this could be a whole other YouTube video on its own. So if you do have more questions and kind of like the day-to-day, the back end, how I did this, how I did that, let me know. But to answer this question specifically, it's just been through delegating and growing a team, finding the right people. I heard someone say recently, you need to fire fast and hire slow. That was really amazing advice, because I feel like sometimes we give people too much of a chance, like too long. It's like they are just not getting it. And instead of like letting that go on, like fire fast and find someone new, but take your time really vetting the people who you're hiring on for your business. And that is really it. All of your questions answered. Wow, this is going to be my longest video here on YouTube yet. I hope that like gave you a little bit more of an insight of who I am, more about me, thoughts, feelings, like you got a little bit of an insight to my personal life as well. And if I missed anything or you want me to expand more, please comment below, and I always get back to all of my comments on my YouTube videos. But as always, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Make sure to check out my latest video here.